It began with the blacksmith, a burly man of strength and vigor, who, after a night with Solira, was found the next morning, pale and weak, his life force seemingly drained from his body. The village healer could not explain the sudden illness that had befallen him, and whispers of witchcraft began to stir. In a remote village, nestled within the embrace of ancient trees and the whispers of the ancestors, there lived a girl named Solira. With skin like polished mahogany and eyes that held the depth of the night sky, she was a vision of beauty that captivated the hearts of all who beheld her. Yet, behind her enchanting facade lay a secret so dark, it threatened to unravel the very fabric of the community. The village was a place where tradition ruled, and the spirits of the ancestors were revered. The elders spoke of balance and respect, and the people lived in harmony with the land and each other. But an air of tension had begun to shroud the village, as every full moon brought with it a tale of another man succumbing to Solira's mysterious allure. It began with the blacksmith, a burly man of strength and vigor, who, after a night with Solira, was found the next morning, pale and weak, his life force seemingly drained from his body. The village healer could not explain the sudden illness that had befallen him, and whispers of witchcraft began to stir. As the moons passed, more men fell prey to Solira's spell, each encounter leaving them shadows of their former selves. The village was in the grip of fear and confusion, and the once strong bonds of community began to fray. The women, envious and suspicious of Solira's power over their husbands, shunned her, and the men, though drawn like moths to a flame, discussed her in hushed tones, fearing the consequences of her touch. The village chief, a wise and just man named Chikondi, decided that it was time to confront the mystery that Solira presented. He called upon the village's most respected diviner, a sage known as Nzamba, who communed with the spirits and read the signs of nature. Nzamba undertook a journey into the spirit realm, seeking guidance from the ancestors, and upon his return, his eyes were filled with a knowledge that seemed to weigh heavily upon his soul. He summoned Chikondi and the council of elders to share the chilling revelation. Solira was not merely a temptress, she was a vessel for an ancient and malevolent spirit known as Mokilishi, who sought to break the covenant between the living and the ancestors. The spirit had promised Solira a power beyond her wildest dreams, in exchange for the life force of the men she bewitched. The elders were aghast at the revelation, and Chikondi knew that they must act swiftly to save their people and restore balance to the village. A plan was hatched to confront Solira during the next full moon, when her powers would be at their zenith, and Mokilishi's hold over her the strongest. The night of the full moon arrived, cloaked in an oppressive silence that seemed to echo the tension gripping the village. Chikondi, Nzamba, and a select group of warriors approached Solira's hut, the air thick with the scent of fear and determination. They found her seated outside, the moonlight casting an ethereal glow upon her figure, her eyes reflecting a deep, otherworldly knowledge. Nzamba stepped forward, chanting incantations and wielding sacred artifacts passed down through generations. The air vibrated with the power of his words, and the earth beneath their feet seemed to pulse with latent energy. Solira, however, sat motionless, a smirk playing upon her lips as if she knew that no mere ritual could contain the force within her. Chikondi mustered his courage and spoke, his voice firm with the authority of his position. Solira, daughter of this land, you have been seduced by darkness. Release yourself from this evil, and let us help you restore the harmony you've shattered. Her laughter echoed through the night, a sound both mesmerizing and chilling. You seek to challenge Mokilishi, she mocked. You are mere mortals, bound by the flesh. I have transcended, and with each soul I consume, I grow ever closer to my ascension. The warriors, though fearful, stood ready, armed with weapons blessed by the diviner. But it was Nzamba who took the lead, his voice rising above Solira's taunts, the sacred incantations growing more intense. As he chanted, the artifacts in his hands began to glow with a radiant light, illuminating the darkness that had begun to envelop the village. The air grew thick, and a wind whipped up around them, carrying with it the whispers of the ancestors. Zalaira's eyes widened in shock as the spirit within her recoiled from the power Nsomba summoned. The warriors surged forward, encircling her, their weapons drawn to protect the diviner as he worked to sever the bond between Zalaira and the malevolent Mokelishi. Zalaira's body convulsed, and a shadowy form began to emerge from within her, a specter of malice and despair. The battle between the spirit and the diviner raged, an invisible clash of wills that threatened to tear the very earth asunder. The villagers, who had gathered at a safe distance, watched in awe and terror as their fate hung in the balance. Finally, with a deafening roar that seemed to shake the heavens, the spirit of Mokelishi was expelled, cast out by the unyielding might of Nsomba's ancient magic. The glow from the artifacts faded, and Zalaira collapsed, the darkness that had once shrouded her beauty now lifted. In the days that followed, Zalaira, weak but purified, was tended to by the healers. The men she had bewitched slowly regained their strength, and the village began the long process of healing the wounds of betrayal and fear. The balance had been restored, but the scars of the ordeal would forever remind them of the fragility of their peace. Chikondi, now ever more aware of the threats beyond their understanding, decreed that the village would honor Nsomba and the ancestors with a new festival, one that celebrated the light that guides through darkness. Zalaira, forever changed by her encounter with Mokelishi, dedicated her life to serving the village, hoping to atone for the pain she had caused. And so, the village found a new unity, a new strength born from the trials they had endured. Their story became a legend whispered across the continent, a tale of a girl who danced with darkness, and the community that reclaimed her with the power of their faith and the wisdom of the ancestors. The moral of this story is that one should not be deceived by the outward appearance of people, both men and women, because not all that glitters is gold. If you enjoyed this story, kindly give it a thumbs up, share, and don't forget to comment on what country you are watching the video from. Until then, I'll see you in my next story.